Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Tibbs. I am the president of HAPevolve, and I'm extremely excited to have Dr. Terrence Govender with me today, who is the vice president of medical affairs for one of HAPevolve's industry partners, ClinIntell. Terrence, thank you so much for taking some time with me today.
Thank you for having me, Joe. I'm really excited to be here and talk a little bit more about our product and how we can partner.
I love it. So Terrence, one of the first things we always ask is for our partners to kind of give a high-level description. I certainly know what ClinIntell is, but please tell us in a couple of words what ClinIntell does for hospitals in Pennsylvania.
ClinIntell is a patient population severity reporting firm, Joe. And the industry typically, when they're trying to optimize severity capture and reporting on their patients, they use the unit of analysis is the medical record. What ClinIntell has really pioneered is this concept of not looking for opportunities just in one medical record, but rather assessing the unique inpatient population that is admitted to the hospital every single month, and then using an advanced proven predictive model on the population of patients, we're able to tell you how much severity you reported relative to what was available. And that becomes groundbreaking, Joe, because what that really means is we've removed the industry's reliance on benchmarking. We can give the organization insights all the way down to physician level. And really, the insights that we bring to the organization are not to be leveraged by the CDI team, but rather physicians and executives themselves.
Can you talk to some of how you're differentiated from what a hospital would normally be using in this space?
Sure, absolutely. In fact, there's several different ways, but they all stem from the fact that we are not relying on descriptive statistics anymore, aggregated data and trends. So a simple example for the audience, if you go into a room with a regular flashlight, descriptive statistics, you will never be able to identify or highlight the fluorescent substances in that room. I don't care how bright you turn your flashlight on, descriptive statistics, you've got a flashlight, it's the same thing. But if I want to identify fluorescent substances in that room and I bring a UV light in, now I'm able to identify exactly where it is. You see, the flashlight would never pick it up. And so sometimes you don't know what you don't know because you're using more primitive ways when there are more sophisticated ways to identify these opportunities. So to take an industry from relying heavily, if not only, on a descriptive statistics platform to a predictive analytics platform really infuses efficiency and insight into the model. And we're the only ones that have that proprietary proven model currently. And we're approaching it from a way that the industry has been lackluster on from a solution standpoint, which is the physician.
Can you walk us through, for the people who are viewing, the current state of the industry, and then maybe some of the ways that ClinIntell kind of solves some of the problems that exist?
If I'm a physician practicing or seeing a patient, and then I'm doing my documentation, and if I get a documentation query, which more often than not is sent out of context when I'm actually seeing that patient, the clinical pathway that's in my mind is very real when I'm with the patient and documenting on that patient. The documentation query comes in at a random time. It doesn't align or sync with that thought process. And when it interrupts you in that way, it also, because of the rules and guidelines, it cannot be very direct. And so it leaves me very frustrated thinking that now I have to do an administrative task, which really is about a clinical condition that a non-physician is asking me about. I may engage, but I'm engaging at that point, but I'm not really adding long-term value to the organization. Now, simple switch around of the process. If you came to me, Joe, and said, "Hey, Terrence, this is what the organization is calling or defining as acute respiratory failure. All your patients that meet these criteria, this is what they have." Currently, the organization is underreporting this condition. We know we're not missing it. We're just using less severe descriptors. Can you do me a favor? Next time your patient has this, can you say that? And can you tell me what you did about it? You see, that's a conversation that CDI, the industry, has never had with a physician. It's always been about, answer this query. What does the patient have, right? So we ask the physician a question, we give them a multiple choice question, but we never gave them the curriculum to study. This is taking the curriculum and telling them, learn the curriculum on these 10 patients and do it right the first time. It's a shift in perspective. It's actually a paradigm shift, but usually those significant shifts yield the best results, and they do.
Can you speak just super quickly around how your solution helps address physician burnout, specifically as it relates to reducing some of that administrative overburden that exists in the clinical environment.
Sure. I believe the industry has actually created this problem of burnout as it relates to documentation initiatives because of the process that I've described, there's this perception that changing physician practices is an insurmountable task. And it's just not true. And what we've done is we've implemented tools, prompts, etc. for physicians. But if you think about it, we haven't really taken away the query. We've just moved the query from the CDI program to the point of documentation. And I'm going to make a very bold statement now, Joe. There is no replacement in the industry currently, or no better approach than a physician that gets proficient with the approved definition of a clinical condition and then documents what they need to when their patient meets that criteria. And I say this very boldly because you'll hear in the industry, oh, we're implementing AI, we're implementing this. Well, you can make the act of documentation easier for physicians. I mean, they don't have to physically do it, but you can't correct the accuracy of documentation. I would say that the only time you should rely on a technology or tool to take over the documentation accuracy component is when the physicians are comfortable handing over clinical decision-making to a computer or technology. We're not there yet.
Yeah. Seems like we're a little far away from that.
Yeah, because AI is going to be garbage in, garbage out. If the physician doesn't understand what this diagnosis is, the AI is not going to know. But if the physician says acute respiratory failure based on this, now the AI can capture it. And so that concept of addressing the physician in a clinical manner, there's no replacement for doing it right the first time.
Well, Dr. Govender, on behalf of myself and HAPevolve, I wanted to say thank you so much for your time and for your explanation, and most importantly, for sharing your expertise with us today. For those of you that are watching this video, more information about ClinIntell will be included in the video description below. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to myself or the HAPevolve team, and we'll make sure to connect you with our partners at ClinIntell. Terrence, again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe, for having me. Appreciate it.